Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're back.
Yeah.
Yep.
There wasn't 2 episodes recorded between the last one and this one, but you're hearing this one.
Yes, you are.
Next.
It has been, I believe, 1 month.
Yes, I believe that is correct.
1 month since the last time we were in studio.
Yes.
So
Jeff lived somewhere else.
Yeah.
Last time we recorded.
I did. I have
crazy.
moved. It is technically like 2 days less than a month. It's when the previous episode released. So
okay.
Yeah, but I did live somewhere else. Now I live somewhere different.
That's correct.
And I've been there like
Couple weeks?
Yeah, but
Yes.
like actually like in person, like a couple hours.
Do you sleep there?
I do sleep there, but that's
Okay.
about it. That's where my stuff is and where I sleep.
Okay.
I have. You have played many hours of video games, but it's basically sleep, video games, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that when we were helping you move some of your stuff in, one of the comments as we were moving, I think it was your bookshelf, might have been your mattress. I don't know. We were helping you move something down the stairs, and you were
Yes.
like, "I am going to die in this basement."
It was the TV. It was
Yeah.
definitely the TV.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
the TV.
The
Yeah.
TV bezel is very thin and hurts your hands,
Yeah.
and I never want to move it again.
Yep.
But yeah, I got a kick out of that. Moving does suck, but all right.
But I would say the being not there vast eclipses the being there.
Very true.
That's
Zach is still mostly by himself.
Yeah.
the way he likes it.
hmm
It's fine.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Now I just
So-
have someone's stuff to look through when I'm bored.
I just lay on your bed,
Yeah.
hang out, pet my cat.
Yep.
She runs in and out every once in a while. I
Yeah.
don't know what she does in there, but
poops probably.
I don't know. No,
Just
I
shitting
don't
under the bed.
yeah. It's like
Or
tile.
she-
It's like tile, though. So.
Where
Yeah.
she hides all the mice bodies. They're just slowly desiccating under your bed.
Would she hunt mice?
I don't know. She's never been given the chance.
Okay.
She doesn't have front claws, so it would be.
Oh.
She's a defensive fighter, so maybe if the mouse came at her, just
Despite not
like
having-
jujitsu, immediately on her back.
Despite not having
Muay Thai.
despite not having front claws, she sure had no problem chasing Jester out of the basement.
Oh,
on
very
one
true.
occasion.
Yes.
So, all right. This is a board gaming podcast.
Uh-huh.
We may have forgotten that over the last
I
month.
think everyone else did too.
I think everyone else did, but I'm going to remind everyone that's a board gaming podcast. And we're going to talk about board games now. Just to stay vaguely on track. So it's been a very long time since I recorded. I have definitely not remembered everything I've played. I have also
Which
not
is
played
fine.
nearly as much
Yeah.
as I would like to have.
We have plenty of good games to talk about.
I have good games to talk about
You
as
have
well.
good game to talk about.
But you may start, Jeff, as I think you guys do have some more interesting games, perhaps more relevant games. So I'm playing old
relevant
shit.
to our interests. Real quick, I don't remember if we even talked about this one, but I purchased Planet Unknown. Not the like ultra mega deluxe edition, but the
Regular deluxe edition,
regular. Yeah, the one that doesn't have the minis, but still has the Lazy Susan.
which
Okay.
is important to the game.
Yes,
I have still not played it, so I do not know.
it is good. We played that. I think I lost by like a point or
Yep.
something like that.
That was the first time I had played with unique planets and then also unique corporations.
Yes.
So those were interesting. They definitely were very different, but you could really see how some planets very heavily favored like ice versus not ice, and some like corporations could take advantage of that more. So you could really see you getting in an instance where somebody got a corp in a planet that synergized really well,
Yeah.
and then it would be hard. So with that asymmetric boards, it could really teeter from one side or the other.
Okay.
All the corporations were very unique. I enjoyed those. They all had their own unique techs. Mine was like my rover could move could count energy or the wild tiles as like 0 movement. So I could, if I chained everything together, I could get a rover really far, and it could move diagonally as well.
I assume that's very good.
It's
moving diagonally is really nice because that's just a 1 movement versus 2. So it like cuts your movement in half when you're going diagonally. So mine had I had a bunch of rovers. Like a lot of people had 1, maybe 2. I had 4 that I could get.
Damn.
And once I got a little bit into tech, anytime I was the big difference with them is that meteors, normally when you just run over them with the rover, that's it. You've collected them. I had to grab it and bring it back to
a sieve tile.
No, not the sieve tile, the rover tile.
Okay.
Back to its base, basically. But a lot of my I got basically free movement every round as long as I had meteors on my rovers, so they were moving fucking everywhere.
The Planet Unknown has a lot of like moving up tech tracks and getting bonuses that make you move up other tracks and stuff. And my civilization, my corporation, I could put there's a bunch of like life pods and stuff on the planet, and I could put those pods on my track that when my token moved up, it could skip those life pods.
Oh, okay.
So they were like skips all over my board, but they didn't count for points if they were there, and they only counted for points if they were like up in the scoring area. So as I did things, I was able to like move them around and adjust them. So I wanted more of like the wild stuff to help me adjust where those were.
Okay.
Because once the token moved past, I could jam a bunch of them in there, and then it was neat. I liked it.
Nice.
I would like to get, I don't know if there was a bunch of Kickstarter. Was it Kickstarter? I think this game was originally.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a bunch of Kickstarter exclusive unique civs or planets, but I would certainly like to get the rest of the planets that I know exist.
Yeah.
That are all super unique.
Cool.
There's one that's like a black hole, and it's like, normally a planet is round, and you have all the polyominoes that can go in this big, nice, round shape. But the black hole, there is nothing in the middle, and everything is around it. So it's all like a big dead area in the center of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a bunch of like space ice and not like planet ice.
Okay.
Very different.
It's super weird. They have a bunch of weird ones, and I would like to have all the weird things.
Yeah.
Right on.
That's Planet Unknown.
Cool.
Very good game.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a chunk of time here, and we're gonna talk about Twilight Inscription, because we played a 7-player game of Twilight Inscription.
Yep. I was not present for this
Yep.
either. I don't
No, you were
remember when you guys did it. I think I was probably working, but
When is AdrianWorking.com? If anyone wants to register that for us and give it to us, that would be great. We need to put a calendar up there so we know when Adrian is working.
this is true.
Yeah. His divorcee-esque level of work schedule. Twilight Inscription. It is the roll and write of Twilight Imperium. This was an April Fool's joke at one point or another from them? And then they were like, no, let's just do it though.
Yeah.
And this came out at Gen Con this year, which we had a press demo through Chris from the Boards and Swords.
Yes.
We joined him to like learn and play that. Weren't able to get it at the show, but we're able to get it later on, which was probably for the best because there was like stupid promo dice that came with it.
Yes.
In this game, which we have talked about, I think, on the Gen Con episode, but you have 4 sheets in front of you. You are also one of the 20. There was only 24. That doesn't have the 25th one in there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Doesn't have the weird spy faction that they added. So you have a race. You have 4 different roll and write boards, basically, that have to do with navigation, exploration, industry, and warfare.
Yep.
They are,
and each one of them can either be, you can all either have the same sheets, or everybody could have different sheets in terms of like different exploration versus the same one.
Everyone can have 8 unique boards.
Yep.
Can you mix and match the different boards?
Yes.
Okay, so like not everyone has to have 8B, but they can have the 1B and the 7B and
yes.
Yeah. Okay. There are 3 different symbols on all the dice in the middle. You roll. You have a strategy card that gives you some symbols, and then you roll dice, and then you can have 3 colored dice that you can unlock later through various ways. But basically, you're using those dice symbols, of which there are 3, to mark your board as you wish. Navigation, it's kind of like drawing lines between star systems. In expansion, it's Xing out like planets
that you've explored.
Yep.
To then explore those planets. So you're digging deeper onto each of those planets.
And then and it has very much roll and write mechanics of like you're completing rows or columns and then getting whatever the benefit is at the end of that row or column.
Yeah.
Industry, which is just kind of putting a bunch of circles and X's, but you can only claim next to X's. You can't claim next to circles.
Yeah, you can circle next to X's, but you can't circles next to only circles. But X's don't get you them. You're basically scrapping the spots.
Yeah.
So it's all about the things you don't want, getting rid of them so you can get the things you do want.
Yeah. And the scrap symbol is more common than the claim symbol on the dice. That one, you are getting various different symbols to represent your industry, which gets you a bunch of points, and also like trade good production, which is your wild that you can cross out to use as any symbol during that turn. That's also where your votes live, because as you claim like representatives and stuff like that, you get to when we get to the politics phase of the Twilight Imperium. And then warfare has an interesting little like node system where like every ship is represented. It's a bunch of these dots. And it's on like a 5x4 grid, doubled. So left to right, and then stack 4 of them on top of each other.
Okay. So it's basically like a
you're going to have 4
3D space.
No, it's just like 5x4 and then another one on top of it. Yes. And so you're going to have 4 different war events happen throughout the game. And then you're comparing your right side to the person to the next person's left side, because those are the ones that are actually competing against each other. Someone wins, someone loses, and you get positive things or negative things based off of that.
It's basically -1 point or a free die unlock or a bunch of points or a technology symbol, or because every faction has their own faction tech that when you unlock that symbol, you get to do stuff that is unique to that faction.
So is it like your left side then is your defense, your right side is your offense?
No, it is.
It's how many, so if you have let's say a Tetris T piece. So if you think about how many cubes are in that Tetris piece.
5 usually.
Well, a T piece. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in the T piece specifically.
Don't just ignore what he just said. It's all about
it's all Tetris pieces.
But it's about lines and
it's about dots.
It's dots and lines.
Yeah. So the lines don't mean anything.
The lines connect the dots, but it's yes.
But the power is the dots.
Yeah. The nodes, if you will.
Yes. So when you think of
him, Jeff.
When you think of a Tetris piece, you see the way the shape is, but every square that makes up a Tetris piece would be 1 power.
Yes. Yeah, get that.
Yeah, and then you're just putting all of these Tetris pieces onto your board, and depending if they're on the left side of the line or the right side of the line depends on what that power is.
See, now that's where you lost me.
If you have 4 dots on the right side, you have 4 power to the right. If you have 5 dots on the left side, you have 5 power to the left. And then you're comparing and contrasting.
So if Jeff and I were playing,
so
it's my right versus his left.
So something about the way you said that made it sound like your right attacks his left, and then his right. It's like everybody attacks to the right.
No.
And then
you're attacking your neighbors.
You attack both sides.
I see.
And then you're comparing and contrasting.
Yeah. So then is the 3 stacked? Is that
after the first war, you basically negate everything at the bottom, and then you just keep moving up.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you can only build from that line or above for the next future rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's below that line no longer counts for your power. It's only in whatever is that next section.
The deployment area. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really good fleet, but now it's useless to me
it's basically
forever.
you guys fight, and then
a bunch of that got destroyed, and now you're building the next fleet.
Exactly. Yeah. Next phases of stuff. It's about, just like with votes, once you use a vote, it's gone, and then you have to produce new votes.
Yeah.
So like there are ways to earn more ones, but once it's gone, it's gone.
Takes time to print all those fake
exactly.
ballots.
Yes. Yeah.
But also, as you build ships, you get points for building certain ships. There's technology that lets you build like war suns and stuff.
Okay.
Each one of the boards has a different two different technologies on it that help with that, specifically with that board.
Okay.
That you can unlock.
Yeah, like on the one where you're claiming and scrapping, if you have 3 X's next to a circle that is next to a space that is unclaimed, you can claim it for free.
It just makes it easy, just like the techs in Twilight Imperium, they just make it easier for those things
and then
in some way.
Then there's always kind of like a passive one, and then one that is always like whenever you activate that sheet, because you're only ever using one of these 4 sheets at any time.
Gotcha.
So the game is broken up into quarters.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of stuff that gets unlocked on certain sheets that you then need to, on your next turn, activate a different sheet to be able to use those. Like when you try and explore planets, you can't expend the planets until you get to the expansion one, where you can actually start like marking off those rows and columns to.
And the main thing on this one is that on most of the cards, which are strategy cards, you just choose an active sheet. Of the 4, we could choose the same ones. We could choose different ones. So you can
it's
be
all
focused.
personal.
Yeah.
They do also have a rule of thumb to be like, hey, don't look at people's sheets next to you until you're done with your turn, because you're not supposed to be seeing what they're doing and then adjusting whatever you're doing on that turn. You're supposed to take your turn in a cone of silence, and then after everyone's ready, you can see what everyone's done. Or else it's like just waiting for someone to your right to be like, all right, do all your warfare stuff. We're both on warfare. You have to do it first because I need to know what you wrote, and then I can do something to fuck you.
But then he would be like, oh, well, I'm just waiting on you. So it's just like focus on your own shit.
It's like focus on your own stuff.
Sure.
Then you can be like, oh shit, you did warfare. I need to.
Yeah.
Until
Eric was like, so what'd you do with your warfare? And I was like, oh, I put one here, one there. And he's like, oh, I've got 11 on that side. I was like, well, I'm not done.
Yeah.
Like, and you're talking to me about those things.
And then, like you said, there's factions that change how certain things work for everybody.
Yeah, like mine was during the voting phase, I got free votes equal to like every other player in the game. So we had 7 players. I got 6 free votes, but I had to vote and say what my votes were first. So everyone knew what I was voting for at the start. And then everyone else kind of like hides what they do. There's only 3 voting phases. They were all pretty.
So far from what I've seen, they haven't mattered too much. But in the sense that everybody is usually just like, we prefer this one over that one.
Yeah.
Especially with 7 players, because you're supposed to announce how many votes you have beforehand. But if like everybody has like 3 to 10 votes, then any one person isn't going to be like, I want this to change, because then people will just like, oh, I'll just spend enough to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But we did see a couple where if you focused on industry and didn't focus on, like if you didn't focus on navigation, it helped you a lot. But if you did focus on navigation, it didn't get anything towards you. But there were enough people that didn't focus on it that were able to get the benefits that the people who weren't able to get benefits, they just couldn't do anything from it. So I know when we played with Paul, that was like one of the things that he was just like, I don't like these politics. Like these votes just seemed pretty bullshit to him.
And it depended on what you focused on.
Yeah.
Like there was another one that Thursby didn't understand by the wording of it. That was like, take a planet, just nuke it. Every row and column that you haven't gotten yet, just X them out. You're never going to get them. And he was like, oh, but it was only 2. And it was like, no, it's a whole planet that you have to do.
But it has
to have at least 2 spots that are still open.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, oh. And that totally helped other people that was on the other side of whatever that vote was.
Yep.
Okay.
The final turn's always a warfare. That's just how the game ends.
And then it's most points.
Like I think I had 87 points total. So I think our winning score was what, 99?
99, I think, yeah.
Paul won, of course. Ryan was 98. I think I was 4th with 87.
I was 6th, I think, with like 72 or something like
I thought
that.
you were dead last.
Was I dead last? I thought
think-
Pat got. Well, maybe I. Okay, I'm either last or dead last
Second
or
to last.
second last
Yeah,
somewhere.
either
I
way.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was what we got there at 10, and we finished just before 2.
Yeah.
I think, with no like fancy breaks or anything like that, because we had thought the game wouldn't take the normal requisite 9.5, 10 hours,
which is true.
TI4 would take, because everything's simultaneous. So
It took. We had about a half hour for the explanation, so it took like 3.5, and we could easily get it under 3.
with 7 players.
Yeah, with 7 players. So.
But the game does not need to be played with 7 players.
That's correct.
It would probably be interesting in different ways with less players, because the votes would come out different. And
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I still want to try it.
Yeah, the votes seems like the only thing that would really scale with players.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think we all enjoyed it. Nobody like hated it or anything like that. I know there were 1 or 2 people that are like, I'd play it one more time just to see, but I think they may not be like, oh, I'm down for it whenever. But
Sure.
I liked it. It's definitely just like if you want a shitload of an roll and write, it's that.
Okay.
The pens that came with the markers were nice.
Yes.
They're chalk ones, which are
Okay.
good.
Bright orange.
Yep.
Neon orange almost.
That once they dry, they come off really
Yeah,
nicely.
I feel like I remember somebody talking about something
But
like
it was
that.
nice because like in the rulebook it says like give it like 10 seconds before you clear it off to let it dry. Otherwise, it's just going to smudge everything. And so anytime we saw anybody do that,
It's like, I made a mistake, and now
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
immediately fixing it, and
and
that
we're like,
you fucked it up.
fuck it up, man. Now you're smudging everywhere.
Idiot.
Yep.
Idiot. Okay.
You-
There were objective cards that change out every game.
Yep.
There's one objective card for each sheet, basically, and it's whoever's like first to getting.
It's welcome to style.
Yeah.
So you get more
Gotcha.
points first person that gets to it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
It's like have 5 of this symbol, have 10
10 consecutive things.
consecutively claimed industry
Mhm.
things, and then there's 3 or 4 of each of those as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Twilight Inscription, full game, full ass game.
What do you got next on the list? Do you want to let Adrian talk some or?
No, we don't need that.
Oh, don't worry. I'll talk eventually.
We finished.
Forever.
Yeah.
We finished up our 5th campaign of JIME. So that
Right.
one's all done.
Yep.
I still need to start, Jime.
It's right over there.
It's
Yeah.
right over
Right
there. Yeah.
Doesn't show up on this camera.
All 5 expansions as well, I'm sure.
No, for me.
No. It ended, and it was a bummer because the like Shadowed Paths expansion came out so much sooner than the like mini expansions they released with all of them that had like particular boss minis in it that would have definitely been used in this campaign that
We're
didn't
just
come
generic.
out. Didn't come out until like middle of October, late October, or something like that, and it did come out many months previous. So, but I did finally pick that up. It does come up with a new class, which is interesting. They haven't had any, and then there's a new weapon, short sword,
Oh, nice.
and then a bunch of 2 other miniatures in there.
I need to maybe start looking for some of that stuff used.
Yeah,
There's got to be getting to be some people selling
I'm
used
sure.
stuff.
I'm sure.
there is still one more DLC campaign, and then
Which we'll do sometime next year.
Yeah.
Early.
and then maybe a Return to Moria.
Try that one again.
Try that one again, because we lost basically most of it.
'Cause-
All of the like climax missions we lost.
Yeah.
Climax. This is your copy, right, Jeff?
Yes,
I could alternatively just wait until you guys are well and truly done with it and
That's
then borrow
true.
all of your
Yeah.
stuff.
That's true.
It's all basically there.
You can just throw that away. So,
And
yeah.
sleeved.
Probably sell it or add it to the giant donate pile in
Yeah.
the dining room.
Yeah, it's mostly mine. I did move the tapestry token bag that was with the donate pile to the tapestry pile.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that needs to go over there, or Adrian's going to be very disappointed.
Okay.
JIME, it's good. We were super ultra high leveled for this campaign.
We got like
we got our level 4 stuff like halfway in the
through.
campaign or
Yeah.
something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, and so we were just fucking annihilating.
Yeah.
everything.
So anytime now, or pretty much any time after that, when we'd be like, oh, let's look at this, and it was like, you get lore, we always just like, God damn it, we don't need that now.
Who cares?
It's really frustrating to me, like how much content they've put out for JIME, and they're not putting out fucking shit for Descent.
They keep talking about it.
The next thing for Descent, it looked like the last thing I saw was like another huge cube box.
Yeah, so they
Like,
said they weren't going to do the
Act 2.
yeah.
So like I would love for them to do a bunch of like small mission sets and stuff like they do for JIME, and like all kinds of
They
little
put
cool
a lot
ads.
more effort into the Descent ones than they do
The JIME
the JIME ones, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably worth them to do another big box than just another little box, especially involving all the minis and cards and
Well, because I don't
app
like
stuff.
most of the box is the terrain, and I don't feel
Well,
like
the
I need
terrain
that
is
much
not-
more terrain.
I don't know.
So I don't know why I need another cube-sized box.
But what if they needed you to spend another $175?
That's true.
See, and that's the problem. That's what's frustrating.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to, because we fucking loved Descent.
Yeah.
Yes, Descent is great.
The nice thing about us finishing JIME is that after
Now we have freedom for other
we have
campaign
freedom for Descent now.
games.
Hopefully we can finish that before we start up JIME again.
Yeah, I think we're playing Thanksgiving Day,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll get another round in.
Yep.
Still need to try and get like a group together to try and play Oath more regularly. And Megan wants to play
Betrayal.
either Time Stories or Betrayal.
Yeah.
Yes.
To get our campaign back together.
Mm-hmm.
And we still have to finish season 0.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
So
So we can talk about season 0.
much
Yeah.
games.
Last up for me at least, Clank Legacy. We played that yesterday. It had been many, many months since we've played Clank
Yes, it
Legacy.
was.
Mini Moons.
And I think the last time we played was like some DBC game night or something. And it
Yes.
was like the third
Yep.
game of Clank Legacy.
Yes, it
so we
was.
played the fourth game of Clank Legacy.
And we
Which we had to-
all did things for an equal amount of time.
Not correct.
Look, some of us, I'm pretty sure all of us had moments when it was 50 minutes in between our turns.
Yeah, totally. So,
Wait.
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Clank Legacy. I still enjoy Clank Legacy.
Yeah.
After this nightmare of a game that I played for 3.5 hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We had a lot of
for
learning.
me.
We had a lot of relearning
Yes.
of how things worked. Some of us had a little more relearning than others. It was V. And but otherwise we did okay. It was a lot of setup that we had to remember.
Yep.
We had a lot of prologue stuff to do. This was only the fourth game. It all started out just fine. And then Zach was like, oh, every time someone kills something on the trade row when I have this card in my hand, I just get 3 more draws. I get to draw 3 on my next turn.
No, that's just immediately I get to draw 3 cards.
Well, you will have 3 more cards in your hand
That
on your
is
next
correct,
turn.
yes.
So he went from a 5-card play to an 8-card play.
7-card play because that one card I have to play
I'm sorry.
it.
Okay, 7-card play.
Mr. Exaggerator over here.
So I think Zach did every quest in the map that
It was like 75% me, 20% Wes, and then 5% either you or V.
it was not me at
Okay,
all
V,
in any way,
then
shape, or form.
That's true.
Zach did everything. And also he just found things on the board that were just like, read from the book again.
That's nice. Like,
so,
oh, you get a major secret? Go read from the book, Zach.
read the book.
So when you read the book, only you get to read it? Is it like a Betrayal Legacy, like or like
No,
Betrayal
no,
House on the Hill?
it
It's
was-
like you read it out loud to
Yeah,
everybody.
yes.
Yeah.
They were just jealous because you were getting all the reading.
Yes,
Okay.
But also the reading made his turns take forever.
that's true.
Oh,
Because usually it'd be like, okay, now we need to add this and this.
I
Add
see.
half of the
The
map onto the board.
go to this page and get this sticker board and this punch board.
Yeah, one
and
thing
this
I was-
item and add it to the vault.
I will
and-
say one thing that I was thinking of is that I think it may be either more fair or however you want to word it, of just whenever you reveal a contract, just you can't if you reveal that contract, you can't score it that same time, that's the time that you revealed it. So if it goes around and nobody has done it by then, you can do it. But like so
Oh, like you have to start your turn where the contract is?
No, what I mean is just there's at least one of the contracts where it was the dragon thing. It's just like, oh, I do all this, I reveal this, and then I immediately do it.
Yes.
And then so it just kept at, and it
So
really helped me.
Yes. So this was Zach's like ultra mega turn that was like, go here, do this, read all of these things, make these decisions, now add this quest. Now you immediately complete the quest, do all of these other things, and then the things were like, go anywhere on the board, draw 5 more cards, get this, get that. Oh, I'm just going to go over. And like he had spent an artifact to be able to do this, so he just teleported himself with this quest to just another artifact, so he could still, not like die without an artifact. And it also helps that smartly I try and get movement whenever I can in that game because it really helps. And Jeff could not get any for the life of him. No,
poor Jeff,
none. And then it was like, oh, I have all of these cards in my deck. My deck was actually very, very thick, but then my 5-card draw was like stumble, 4 burgles. And then it was like, cool. All right, I'll see you guys in like 40 minutes when it's my turn again.
What's even funnier with that too is that we upgraded our in a way that if you had 2 stumbles,
if you get 2 Clank via stumbles,
if you played both of them, then you get goals, which Jeff needed, but he never even stumbled correctly. He would only get it 1 at a time.
Yeah. So
whereas Wes and I kept being like, oh, we stumbled twice. Let's get some money.
2 money. Yeah. And it was like my roll card was when I get this roll card, I get anything from the market for 6 instead of 7, and I can buy it whenever I get this card. I literally got 3 money the entire game. And then before it was even my next turn, we had an event come up that was like, all right, everyone spend a money or we get a bad X. And it was like, well, okay, cool. And it's down to 2.
Wes and I I bought 4 of the things from the markets. Wes bought 5 of them.
That's 28.
And I had 20.
That's 7
and I had
per.
24 gold at the end of it too.
Yeah.
Wes had about 30 something. So
I saw 3 all game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too is that one of the cards that I got early on was an advertisement that was if you gain Clank this round,
get 2 money.
Get 2 money. And so it always happened the same time that I would get the 2 money.
From making 2 stumbles, so we get 4 money a turn.
Not a turn, but when those would a deck round, they always came out together. Yeah. So yes, but it was
I would always have like a good amount of requisition to buy cards, and it was always just like the rounds before there would be all these 6s and 7s that were amazing, and then I would have like 7 or I would have like 12 or 13, but it would be like 4s, 3s, and 2s that were all I had to buy.
one of the adventure things that I did, one of the book things I did, it said just
Oh, it was the one that gave him a ton of money and a free movement and draw 5.
Also, just as like choose whichever.
card.
Nice.
Just choose a card.
And the card I got was basically when an enemy comes out onto the board, you could just discard it to just beat that enemy.
And then also like draw
2
cards.
cards.
Yeah. Yeah. And V could have bought that one and she didn't.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I remember why she wanted the other one
I
on
want
top
to say
of
I
that.
convinced her to get the flying broom instead.
Yes, the one that had 3 movement on it.
Yes. Hey, 3 movement's nice.
3 movement is nice, but it is not as nice as destroy whatever comes out for free and draw 2 cards.
Look, I just give what I think works best for you. Usually also works best for me.
Yes.
And it worked best for her to get that so that I could get the other thing.
She should have learned that by
now. But now...
So everyone was it was about 30, 40 minutes between my turn and my next turn. And then each of my turns was about 10 15 seconds or so. Yeah. And with Clank, it's just kind of like, all right, people, take your turns. There's nothing I can really do here.
Yep.
Unless there's something in my hand that lets me do something, which there was not. And so
felt bad.
I had about 10 15 minutes of actual gameplay for the 3.5 hour game.
Of which, like you said, he didn't read from the book at once.
Not once.
So at the end, when there was like this story beat thing that everybody got to take part of,
let him read?
No.
They let me read all of them.
I let him read all of them except for the one that didn't apply.
I had to actually have someone else read for me.
I like that. I liked those things though. Games continues to still be real funny,
yes,
which
it
is
is good. I like this game, but I had a very poor showing of Clank Legacy.
Which you could definitely tell in the point scoring.
And I almost made it back.
You almost did.
I was stuck with a forest. I drew all of my movement and got stuck in a forest, which is like a cave in the base game, where you just exhaust all of your boots. And
that's another thing that I did end up getting was their barkskin boots that just let you walk through forests as well.
Yes, but +1 Clank.
Yeah. Oh no, Clank.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. It was real rough on everyone.
Yeah.
And then on my next round, I only got 2. I had bought a ton of movement, but I only got 2, and I and everyone else was out of the game. I survived
one round of that.
I survived 3 dragon pulls, so 12 cubes, and then I needed to survive another 12 cubes.
And he made it through one of them, and then the second one I pulled.
Yes,
his,
he pulled 2, and I only had 2 more even left in there at all.
Yep.
So so I almost made it. I was literally one step away.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen in this next one because it looks like it's going somewhere interesting. So
yeah. It's neat. I like it. I would like to play it more. I would like to not have this fucking nightmare.
You mean you would like to actually play it?
Yeah, I would like to actually play the game. Yeah. Everyone else seemed like they were having a great time.
I was having a blast.
Oh, amazing. All right.
That's Clank Legacy. Yeah. It's a great game. And the expansion, do you have the expansion?
I do.
And you only play it after the campaign is complete?
I bought it and then I realized that it's like you technically can play it before, but then it makes things wildly unbalanced.
I see.
Because you're basically playing the upper management. So all of our decks would be like super overpowered.
Oh, yes. Because it has like the actual acquisitions incorporated like heroes that you are playing as.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be at the end of the campaign you use it?
Because technically after Clank Legacy is done, you can play Clank out of it. So,
Allegedly.
Yep. You want to talk about Brass?
Sure, let's talk about Brass.
Go for it.
Cool. So...
Brass 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, so... this past Wednesday at game night, we were back at Strange, and one of my friends who... he's in my D&D campaign, which we're finally scheduled to play again for the first time in like 8 months. Very excited for that. He has talked for a long time about how much he loves Brass. And so we were talking about game night and all of that stuff. And he was like, hey, would you want to play Brass at game night? It's like, yeah, definitely. So I messaged Zach. I was like, Zach, do you want to play Brass at game night? And he was like, yep. And then I wasn't quite sure like whether Megan would do one or my friend Casey, who was the person who was excited to play Brass. He was going to be bringing a friend of his. I wasn't sure if she'd want to play, so I wasn't really sure where we were at for numbers. But then I was like, okay, so Casey, do you have a preference for Lancashire or Birmingham? And he was like, definitely Birmingham. I was like, oh, well, Zach's going to be sad, but he still gets to play.
Yeah.
So ended up being we invited Ryan over to join us because Megan and Sam, Casey's friend, went and played something else. I don't remember what they were playing. Wingspan, that's right. But we got to play Brass Birmingham. I feel like it was a pretty straightforward game. The worst thing is like obvious. It was pretty obvious. Like you and I, you've played a few times. I've played a bunch across both Birmingham and Lancashire. And Casey had clearly played a decent amount. We did not adequately inform Ryan of the importance of networks. So in the first scoring round...
That's like a core component, right?
I mean, we explained the scoring of those score. He just didn't... It's one of those, like...
He didn't internally understand it as much.
Yeah, but you need a network to do things.
To some extent, he had a network, but the big thing is like he didn't catch the importance of like areas where other people are also developing, so they develop connections that will score you points later. Kind of like terraforming Mars, you want to get next to other people's forests.
He was like, I'm gonna build at this southeast corner, and none of us. It so happened that none of my cards would have even gotten over there.
To where he
couldn't
was,
get over there. without building my network out of there. But there's more important things to build next to.
So he was feeling really good the whole first part because he was building his own little canal network and his own buildings, and we weren't fucking taking over. Because down here we were all bickering about like, oh, you built the last iron spot in that city. That's where I wanted to build. And we were like butting heads a lot. And so I'm sure he was like, ha 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 ha, these suckers. And then we did final scoring, and all of our networks down there in the south that were full of completely full cities that we had all flipped a bunch of buildings, all scored a ton of points, and his did not.
But my boats are gone.
My boats are gone. He did better in the second half.
Yeah.
He still came in dead last. Yeah, the canal phase was interesting in that it was really like three of us all fighting in like the southern part of the map, and Ryan kind of fucking around in the north. And then I tried to get up there. I had one chance to get up there, and then Ryan even kind of blocked me off.
We tried to limit, telling him how to play the game in that regard, just to be like,
just so he could do his worst as
no.
like,
There were
bad as possible.
no. Trust me.
No, we
saved
him.
We saved him. Like there was one time where he took a loan, which brought him to like -3 money a turn, and then he was just
only -3 money a turn.
Well, it's like because a lot of people tend to take a loan like near the beginning, because then when you increase it, it's a lot easier to increase your income at that point than it is higher up.
Loans are more and more punishing later and later in the game.
But he took one of those, and then he was just sort of riding that -3 income for like multiple turns, and it was just like,
Ryan, you
got to get out of that.
Yeah, you can't.
You're gonna go bankrupt, buddy.
You're gonna have a bad time.
And then you spiral, because then you start taking a loan, and then now you're at -6.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I felt like I was doing good. I ended up winning, which I did not anticipate.
No, I called that earlier when you were complaining about losing.
I wasn't complaining about losing.
Oh, no, Megan was standing there when I said it, and she was like,
Yeah. It wasn't like peak Adrian complaining.
No. It was not. It was nowhere near peak Adrian complaint to win, but it was a complaint to win. It definitely was in the same sport, at least.
Yes.
See, sometimes I can feel like I'm going to win, and I'd still do the complain to win because, like, one, it's almost a meme at this point, and two, because, like, if I can get people to feel like, oh, Adrian, well, he's not having a good time. This was not one of those. I felt like I was doing okay. I didn't think I was doing like winning okay. Until I did. Well, towards the end, like I made some really good moves towards the end where I was like, okay,
Ryan used some of your stuff that definitely helped on that.
Truth. But yeah, I don't remember enough of the actual game, and I don't feel like there were any like really amazing, like it wasn't like when we played Lancashire the one time and you like yanked Megan's like shipping out from under her. Like nothing, and Birmingham is nicer that way. It's harder to get those like really fuck you moments.
Halfway through the second round, I had a moment of like I had started to build the pottery stuff, but I was like, do I want to go all in or not? And I didn't, and I really should have.
Yeah.
Because I saw a way for me to do it, and that would have gotten me 20 more. Like it's 20 points for that last one. But I didn't end up. I was like, oh, but maybe I won't. And then so I was a coward and just took the easy way out, and I got either second or
you two were close.
Yeah, we were close.
Yes, you had like 1 point, almost.
It was like 1 or 2 points away.
And even I was just a little bit ahead.
You were like 3 or 4, I think, ahead of it. Yeah,
and then Ryan almost came around the corner.
Yeah, he was at 99. Yep, it was so close, so close. I think we were like 28, 29, and you were like 33 or 34,
something like that. Yeah. I lapped Ryan's income marker.
Yes,
which was nice.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really like Brass. I do prefer Lancashire just because it does have a little bit more chance to really be mean. Which it's one of the few games that like I don't know, my tastes. I liked really mean stuff for a while, but it brings out the worst in me, and so I've kind of gravitated towards not as mean. Brass is one of those I still prefer Lancashire and the little bit meaner side of it than Birmingham. I also think Birmingham, it's a little bit easier to get kind of lost in the like. We have so many more things to build. It's
Yes.
easier to get lost in
Yeah.
the weeds of like
Yeah.
what to build and where to focus. I like Lancashire having a simpler like set of buildings. So I don't know if I feel the maps are really one's better than the other. I haven't played enough to really have a preference for the map layouts.
Yeah.
It is the curse of the podcaster.
Yeah, right.
Not being able to play the exact same game over and over and over again
Yep.
with your core group of friends.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a bunch of fun. Really
Unless it's
enjoyed
Spirit
getting to do
Island
that.
and Paul.
That's
but
true.
he's not on the podcast.
Yeah,
so.
he's not
Yeah.
a podcaster. He's a friend of a podcaster, which is really where it's at. You want to be the friends of the podcast because then they buy all the new games and they always know what's up.
Yeah. That's
And
it.
Yep. Paul definitely doesn't buy games.
Paul
yeah.
definitely doesn't spend a lot on.
I mean, yeah, Paul's.
I think
been-
Paul has definitely the most expensive collection.
Although I think
It's
the
probably
Spirit, I
pretty
want to say
close.
the Spirit Island is Eric's though.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh,
so,
okay.
I think Paul owns Spirit Island and he probably owns everything for it. It's probably still in shrink because he only ever plays my copy or
Let's not start
Eric's
talking
copy.
about games in shrink and really criticizing over.
No,
No, I
of
think
course
it's fine. You can. I think you can do it.
not. We brought all those
Do you want
games over.
examples? I can give you examples.
We
now.
brought all those games over from your house that are sitting out there for donation, and Megan was like, "So does Jeff just buy games and never play them?"
It's usually when they're on like some crazy sale. Like I got Black Orchestra for like $15 or
Sure.
something like that. I was like, I like that game. I'll buy it for $15 and then never play it.
Yeah,
Or you give them a game and then it gets added into that pile.
Which
without
game
the-
was-
Cosmogenesis?
still in shrink.
Did you give me that
I
one?
did.
Oh, I thought that was part of the Renegade pile I had gotten from Gen Con.
Yeah,
Because it is a Renegade game,
Yeah.
right?
Zach,
No.
this is why you
It's
don't
not?
do nice
Okay.
things for
Yeah.
people.
that's fine. No, that's fine. I mean, like with at least Adrian's, I opened it up and it's living in my car and not being played inside.
Yeah.
So I still have the option to play it if at some point. But
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was Brass. A bunch of fun. Glad we got to play it. Next game I'll talk about that I played was just today, actually, this morning, right before, a little bit before we recorded. Megan and I have been talking forever with Andrew about playing some Harry Potter with him and Rebecca, his wife, because like she doesn't like a lot of board games, but Harry Potter Deckbuilder is one of the ones she does like. Well, we finally made that happen. So we went over there, had a nice little breakfast with them, and then played Harry Potter Deckbuilder. We played
expansion?
Yep. So we played book 1 of Monster Book of Madness. We don't have the Charms one.
Monster Book of Monsters?
Monster Book of Monsters.
Okay.
Yep. That's the one.
Yep.
We don't have the potion expansion because we're kind of like, as I talked about the last time I talked about Harry Potter deck builders, like I bought a lot of that stuff back before it became really apparent what a fucking turfy bitch J.K. Rowling was. And now we feel a little like, it's like, oh, we really like this game, but do we really want to do anything that could potentially like...
There was a retheme,
Yeah.
but it has no support.
It hasn't,
that this
yeah, and it's not
has.
really gone anywhere. So
What was the retheme, though?
I can't remember.
I can't either.
It was like,
I think it was called like Perry Hotter or something like that.
no,
Oh, that
that's
was
not
it.
what it
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the system from Deck Builder rethemed to something. But anyway.
It was a Phineas and Ferb game.
So we played Monster Book of Monsters book 1. Rebecca had never played, I don't think Andrew had either with the expansion. So this is the first time for them.
That would be Toy Story
Story.
Obstacles and Adventures.
Because it was something I didn't give a shit about.
Yes.
Theme wise. It was one of the most dominant one-sided Harry Potters I've ever played. So the last one I talked about was over here at
So was
our
it
house
like
with-
50 minutes between your turn and then
No, everybody's turns went really good.
Oh, okay. Cool.
even number of
Cool.
turns.
Oh, that must
That seems
be nice.
that seems pretty boring to me.
Yeah, that
you
must-
really gotta really milk a turn for all it's worth.
At least you were milking your turns by taking just really long turns where a lot happened, and it wasn't like you were just agonizing over the decision.
That's true.
That's Wes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we managed to go this entire game with no one ever getting stunned, which is like crazy, especially in a 4-player game.
Right.
And coming on the heels of the last time we had played over at my house, last time I talked about, we got raffle stomped in a 4-player game with Eric Legal, and I don't remember who the 4th person was in that game. But we got raffle stomped in that one. And so for in this one to go the opposite direction where like no one ever got knocked unconscious, like we very, very handily won. was nice.
Gotcha.
So it was a bunch of fun, and it's nice getting to hang out with the Hater himself and Mrs. Hater, and
I'm sure that's how she prefers to be.
yeah. She probably has no idea about any of that. Yeah. So that was Harry Potter. Just throwing it in there, something I played just today that's very fresh in my mind.
Nice.
And then Zach, do you have anything else that you want to talk about in particular besides Werewords?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the last thing we can all talk about together, because we all played together. So we did on Saturday night, Friendsgiving over at Paul's house.
Yep.
You all went over there at like 4:30. I didn't get there till like 8 after work. But you guys were well in the midst of some werewordsing, and then I joined in, and there was just lots of werewordsing and drinking and eating. And yeah,
still a great game. Works great at 10 people that we were playing at for a while.
we got a couple rounds in at 10.
Yep. We had 9, 10, 9, 8. Yeah.
Yeah,
Works. Anything over 5, I think works good. I haven't played more than that. I feel like 10, maybe like 12 or something, maybe like a good upper limit of that.
Sure.
Just because I feel like you're getting too much at that point. But that 7 to 10 range is especially when you have 2 werewolves is real good.
Yeah. I had considered asking Paul if I could borrow it because I'm going to go out to my grandparents for Thanksgiving on Thursday.
It's like $20.
Well, but I don't know if I'll be able to find it.
Amazon.
By Thursday? Amazon doesn't care about their workers, so they'll be delivering like Thursday in the middle of the day, probably. But the more important thing is then I thought about it for 2 seconds, and there's no fucking way my ultra conservative religious grandparents are going to be cool with like all the mystical seers and weird, like they'd get all tied up in that and completely neglect the fact that it's a fun word game.
Order it within 4 hours, and you can get it here on Wednesday.
There you go. I mean, I might do that because then I could play it at game night. Actually, I can almost certainly find it at Black and Red or
I'm sure
Wizard's Chest and support a local business instead of Jeff Bezos.
The last time I went to Black and Red, I didn't see it, so I don't know. It may be somewhere else, but
It's been long enough that I don't remember the last time I was at Black and Red. I've become a bad board game.
I swung by there, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Whenever it snowed.
You live closer, so you'll be there a lot more now.
You don't live that far.
Yeah. No. And I don't mean you live closer than I do. I mean, now you live closer to Black and Red, so I imagine you'll go there more often.
Yes. The Wizard's Chest is probably still going to be my primary.
Yeah. Well, we gotta support Mike Jones too.
Absolutely.
Give him career stability by continuing to make sure the company he works for never goes out of business.
I think their costume section will float them for a little while.
Yeah.
Also Magic the Gathering.
Also very true.
Yeah. I had swung in there, and there was the pre-release for the new Magic set, and they were fucking bumping.
Yeah. Anyway, we're getting afield. Speaking of werewords, I do want to talk about 2 things that happened while I was there. I don't know if there's any hilarious stories from before I arrived.
Oh, but are we just talking about Friendsgiving now? Is this banter technically?
Well,
No.
This is specifically werewords.
Wereword words?
Wereword words. So at one point, I don't remember who was the werewolf and I don't remember what any of it ended up being. But at one point, I had asked, "Is it animated?" We narrowed it down to that it was like Zach was the mayor.
The word was Fonzie.
The word was Fonzie. We had narrowed it down to that it was a character, a male character from a show over 20 years ago or something. And so I said, "Is the show it's from animated?" And you said no. And then almost immediately after, Megan went, "Is it a cartoon?" And then she was like, "Oh shit, that'd be animated." But that wasted a no.
Yeah.
And Aunt was like, "What the fuck, Megan? He literally just asked if it was animated." And then almost immediately after saying that to Megan, Anthony was like, "Is it a Western style animation or something like that?"
Yeah. Like, is it Western or is it anime?
No.
He had told the story afterwards of like, "Man, that sure was stupid to ask that question a second time, and I've asked it a third time. I'm a fucking idiot."
Yeah. No, that one, it was hard for you guys to get on that one because you kept focusing on the actor parts of it. And so it was hard to be like, to get you guys to guess that it was
a character, not an actor.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was because at one point we did, because we were like, do they play themselves? And you were like, question mark? Like, does Fonzie play himself?
Yeah, I guess because he's a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst one was mine by far, which was you got it in about, I don't know, 40 seconds, I think is what it was. And it was like, all right, let's do this. Is it a person? Yes. Are they a politician? Yes. Are they a president? Yes. Are they a president with the last test presidents? Yes. And it was just kind of like nailing down all the presidents.
So you said president, and then they started to go George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. And so then I was like, is it? And you're just like, no. And I was like, is it within the last 10 presidents? Just to
and I was like, yes.
And I was like, okay.
well, what was funny is because somebody had said, like, is it a dead president?
Yes.
And you had said yes. And so that's when everybody started like the old ones. And so Zach said within the last 10. I was like, I mean, that's not really any better. Like, we're just going to list 10. Like, and there was like, oh, wait, no, there's like 5 of the last 10 that are alive. So it did nicely divide.
Yeah. I was a werewolf and Julie was a werewolf. I was like, we ain't got a fucking chance here, Julie. We're
we are fucked.
Yeah.
The other funny moment for me was
the first round. The first round you were in.
Was that the Galadriel round? Yeah. So that was I think it was Anthony as the werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A werewolf and mayor.
Yes.
And Julie as the werewolf. And he did I don't remember what the clues that led up to it, but like at some point Julie asked, is it a young person? And Ant was like, no.
It was like fantasy character.
We got it narrowed down to like fantasy,
from a book
female,
in the last 50
fantasy.
Years. But that wasn't even true because Lord of the Rings is like before that.
Yeah.
It's always nice when like the clue giver gets it wrong just because they think it's not it. Like Paul thinking that Tom Hardy was American.
Yeah,
that was the first round when I showed up and you guys were playing. When I
was like, Tom Hardy, not American.
I was a werewolf, and I asked that knowing I was like, this is probably going to lead us down a bad spot. And then he said yes instead of no, which was the correct answer. And I was like, perfect. We're never getting this.
Yeah. I was the seer in that round, and I was just like,
fuck.
How do I tell them that it's not right?
Yeah, you can't. You just be like, all right, who's a fucking werewolf? Let me find.
Let me find the werewolves. But no, in the Galadriel one, because he very dismissively, Julie asked, like, are they young? And he was like, no, like very, very dismissively. And then I said something about like, is it a human? And he again, same thing, like, no. And it was like, is it Galadriel? It's like,
isn't it elf? Yes. Is it Galadriel? Yes.
Yep.
And then the werewolves were like, yeah, I mean, it's got to be, or it was Eric and Julie. They're like, it's got to be Adrian. Like, he got it so fucking fast. Like, and then it wasn't. I just happened to get it really fucking fast.
Yeah.
The other good one was the very last one where you and I were the werewolves and you were the mayor.
Yeah. And the word was employ.
The word was employ. And you telling Julie, she's like, is it something animals could do? And you're like, maybe.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. And then, but it was funny then is that people were like, they're like, is it an activity? Like, or is it an event? Yeah, I guess it is. It something you can do?
That was a great one.
Is it something you've done?
Is it something you've done? And you were like,
no.
Is
it something you want to do in the future? Yeah, I guess.
And then somebody was like, is it something? And then I asked, because I saw where these were going. I was like, is it something that's happened to you? And you were like, yes. And everybody was like, mind melted. It was like,
I was also the seer on that one.
Yeah.
I was the seer like 4 or 5 times.
I was werewolves 4 or 5 times. Well, something that was funny was that I was Julie and I were both a werewolf and the Thing 3 times, and each, like, it was when Julie wears the werewolf, I was the Thing. I touched her on her shoulder. When she was the werewolf, or when she was the Thing, I was a werewolf. She touched me on my shoulder, and I did the same thing again. She was also a werewolf that time. So
I only played in a handful of games there at the end of the night, and I got Thing touched like 2 or 3 times.
I was never touched all evening.
Oh. I liked the one for Paul. Paul was the mayor, and it was like meat. I think like meat, like to meet someone, not like not like flesh meat. And Ant was like, "Would it be weird if I did it now?"
Yeah.
And Paul was like, "Yes."
Because
because we've been friends for many years now. There's a reason you're at my Thanksgiving.
It's
Yeah,
Paul,
it would,
right?
It would be weird if we had never met before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Werewords, bunch of fun.
Werewords is
Yeah.
very good.
Wanted to highlight a few of those fun
We did
stories.
hard the entire time.
Yeah.
I don't even know what easy or medium
Dude,
is like.
there were times that the mayor we'd all have our eyes closed. The mayor would like touch something, and the app would be like, "It's an impossible round."
It's like, what are you fucking doing,
Yeah.
you idiot?
It was nice anytime anybody took more than 1 second to do something. It's like, everybody's waiting for you.
Yeah.
The one time, like, I was getting ready to be mayor, and Ant got up to get a beer,
Yeah.
and it's just berating me.
Yeah.
The whole time
Uh-huh.
Ant's getting
Yeah.
a beer. It's like, it's not my fault.
Then we also started berating you. Which
Yeah,
is,
of course.
Yeah.
I would expect nothing
Mhm.
less. So yeah, I think that's everything we've been playing recently. We can move on to some regular banter
Mhm.
things. I went to Mexico. It was good.
Cancun, Mexico.
Cancun, Mexico. All-inclusive resort, which Megan and I have decided is not for us.
Shocking.
Mediocre food, mediocre drinks, but it's free. Air quotes, because you pay a lot more for your room than you would if you stayed in like a dirtbag hostel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only experience I'm going to share here on the podcast, because it was great. We went on one of the nights we were there. We left the resort and we went and swam in a cenote, which are these like limestone pools they get down there.
Lava tubes with water in it.
Yeah, so they're like old lava tubes, and then the surrounding rock is all like old limestone, so it's fairly porous, and so water filters through and fills these lava tubes, and so it's really filtered like clear water, kind of brackish, like a little bit salty. In some of them, some of them are very fresh. It's kind of a mixed bag. The one we were swimming in was brackish.
Some are very clear. Right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even this one was very clear.
Okay.
But you could taste if you splashed it in your mouth, there was a hint of salt. It wasn't like the ocean
Okay.
salty, but it was still a little salty. And then like big mangrove forest like all along it.
Oh, nice.
So we get to this one, and as we're getting out of the car and like kind of getting checked in and paying and everything, there was a group that was leaving that had been scuba diving, because like some of these are like Jeff said, they're lava tubes. You can like scuba way down.
They put the signs of like, do not go past this sign or you will die.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So there's all kinds of crazy shit like that. So we were just like swimming on the surface, like nothing crazy. And we're talking to these people about like, how was it? And they're like, oh, it was great. So many cool fish, so many cool birds. We got to see a crocodile. And we were like, wait, what? Crocodile? Like, oh yeah, it was just a little one. And it was like asleep. And like the guide was like, oh yeah, he eats fish only. And he's like, doesn't bother people. And he's like eating all day. So now he's just sleeping, like enjoying the last of the sun and sleeping. And so it's fine. Little crocodile, no big deal. And they're like, it was really cool getting to see it. And we were like, okay, well, sure. Like, these people saw a crocodile and they're fine with it.
it's not Florida. It's not like 300 alligators per meter.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, that's fine. So we go swimming, and we swim a little ways in and make it around a couple bends. And Megan's friend, Becca, sees like movement in the water up ahead. And she's like, nope, I've been like paranoid about this the whole time. Like, I'm worried about getting eaten by a crocodile. I'm out. I'll wait for you guys here. And so we're like, okay, well then we're going to keep going. So we kept swimming, and we kind of turn another bend and go like in this cool, like the mangrove trees were all kind of overgrown. So it was like a little cave of trees, and it was really cool and quiet. And there's little crabs on the shore eating things and all this. And I'm joking about like, all right, so who's the one which group gets attacked by the crocodile? Is it the person who stayed behind, or is it the group who goes ahead? Like, were they the smart ones who were like,
Right.
nope, it's too dangerous? Who gets attacked by the crocodile? And so we're kind of laughing and joking about that. And we keep swimming a little bit. And I had stopped to like look at one of these crabs because they were very colorful, and going to town, I was fucking with them a little bit. And so Megan and her friend Matt are a little bit further ahead. And I hear Matt go, Megan, stop. And he's like, I see the crocodile. And she goes, where is it? And I'm like, oh, I want to see it. So I start swimming up there. He's like, okay, it's on that rock to your left. And she's like, looks over directly to her left. She's like, there's no crocodile there. He's like, no, like ahead to your left. And so me and her both like look, like he kind of is pointing, and we look. There was a 6-foot fucking crocodile
Nice.
on this big fucking. We're like, that is not a small crocodile. That is not a fucking small crocodile. Fuck
I
this
mean,
Yeah,
shit.
it kind of is a small
compared to like Nile crocodile. Yeah. No, it's.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's still definitely like big enough to kill a person.
Uh-huh.
Like if it was wanting to hunt one of us, I feel like it could have
Hey, you just
grabbed us and killed us.
Just give it one good punch. It'll be
right in the
fine.
snout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have your dive knife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're like, no, fuck this. Like, we're all out. We're out. So like we swim back and everything. And later on, we were talking about it.
And her friend was dead.
No, her friend got even
replaced by a crocodile.
No, she'd gotten even more nervous being alone, so she swam back to the entrance and was like waiting for us, like out of the water. But we were talking about it, and I was like, but was it even real? Like, we never even saw it move. Like
they don't move.
I was like, it could be like, I was like, I wish we'd sat longer so I could see if it was like breathing. Like if I could see it, like, you know, it was like, because that could have just been like a really like detailed like statue
probably don't do that on those.
Well, like I didn't know because it's like, you know, they set it up for the tourists to be like, oh, fuck with the tourists. Like, I don't know, you know, like I've been places that do kitschy shit like that. And this place was like
when you were swimming,
sketchy little cenote.
When you were swimming to see it, could you stand up where you were?
No.
Yeah, I think giving people like, let's say not heart attacks, but like, oh God, it's in a place where they can't stand up. Like having people panic when they have to swim to stay afloat would seem like a bad idea.
Which it seems even crazier that the people who ran the thing never mentioned it or its size to us. It could have been, if I'd seen that thing swimming, I would have literally shit. There's no way I would have been okay with that. But yeah, so we get back and like, so we were all talking about that. Like, was it real? Was it not?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and Megan's like, I don't want to know. I want to imagine that it was real and that we were like that close to a real crocodile and like we could have died. And I am not okay with that. Like not knowing, the not knowings with so I looked it up and I was like, I won't tell them if it's fake. I'll let them believe that it was real. But turns out, no, it's real. And if you look up Casa Cenote in Cancun, you can find all kinds of videos on like Instagram and shit of people like actively swimming with this guy. Apparently he's like super chill with humans. Like he'll swim right up to you and you can like touch him and like there's enough fish that he can eat and humans, I guess. And it was one of those we were talking about. It was like, I guess humans are big enough they'd put up a fight and you could get hurt. And like predators don't like to fight for prey if they don't have to. So maybe just, you know, he's cool with people. But like if I had seen him if we turned that corner and he was swimming or like the water was very clear, if I had looked down and seen him swimming under me, I would have fucking shit my pants. Like, I'm not too proud to say I would have shit.
If he looked at you in a way that looked like a smile, would that be worse or better?
Worse.
Okay.
Worse.
Okay.
Chuckling internally as he makes someone shit themselves again.
Yeah. Like, haha, you fertilize the fish that I eat.
Haha, they will eat your poop, and then I will eat them, and then I am eating your poop. Transitive property.
Yep.
But yeah.
Crocodiles known for their understanding of the transitive property.
Indeed they are.
Yes.
Yeah. And I lied one other brief thing. We went to Cozumel Island right off the coast there. So we took a ferry over, and before we...
Transitive pooperty?
Transitive pooperty. We went to like a little tour group thing there, rented the ferry or got the ferry tickets. Then they talked us into renting a buggy. And they showed, you know, images of like, you could rent like the car, the Jeep, the mopeds, or the buggy. And the buggy was like, it looked like a cool, like, dune buggy, like really cool off-roady vehicle. I'm like, oh yeah, that'll be great for like beaches and stuff over on Cozumel. One, the beaches on Cozumel are not those kinds of beaches. And two, the buggy was not that kind of buggy when we got to it. It was a very janky, like, kick car, go-kart kind of buggy.
All right.
There were only 2 seat belts. They were in the front 2 seats, which were just hard plastic bucket seats, no cushioning at all. One of the 2 seat belts didn't work.
Oh, that's fine.
There were roll bars.
Was it the driver or the passenger?
It was the drivers that did not work.
Oh, that's good. You're holding on to a wheel, so that's
exactly.
fine.
Yeah, that's great. That's fine.
It had 2 roll bars on it, one like behind the driver and then one like in front of it. And they were at the perfect height where if you got in a front end collision, it would have pushed your nose to the back of your head.
That seems fine. Great.
Yeah, it seems great. And the gas pedal had like a shopping cart wheel on it. And like, I think the idea was like, as you pushed, it would like roll under your foot and be like nice and smooth to roll. But it was like the janky wheel on the shopping cart where it's like all...
It was just as smooth as you remember shopping cart wheels.
Yeah. And it was a manual, and I was the only person who could drive a manual. The problem is I also have the shortest legs. So when the seat was all the way forward, I could barely with my tiptoes push the clutch in far enough to shift. And it was the jankiest...
Well, you're not wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's good you didn't... Yeah, so you could get really up there.
The seatbelt didn't hold you back into the wheel.
Really slide. It was to the point where, like, I put my like little backpack that I was carrying with like my water bottle and my towel.
Your booster
like
seat.
behind me.
Yeah.
Except it wasn't a booster to lift me; it was a booster to push me forward
Yeah,
and still give me
yeah.
like something behind my back so I could push on the clutch.
I mean, this is what you get for being short. I don't know what to tell you.
You should have done something about that.
Yeah.
And the first place we stopped, we stopped and I kind of parked, and they were like, "Well, why don't you pull forward up there into the shade?" And I was like, "Because I don't know where it reverses on this stick shift." And they're like, "Oh no, it's light enough. We can just push it if that." And I was like, "Okay, sure." So I pull in there, and then like I was struggling to do something, and there was like a parking attendant security guard, and he was like, what's the problem?" And I was like, "I don't know how to do reverse in this." And he's like, "You push down and then come towards you and down," which I guess is like once he said it, I was like, that's an older style of like reverse. Like I'm used to like American cars, you go to the right and down.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you push it down and then go over and then go back and then it kind of like drops in. But it was still really janky and hit or miss. By the end of the day, I was a pro though, getting in reverse. It was great. So those are my two stories: janky buggy and swimming with a crocodile.
No, there you go.
It was fun though.
Now we know.
Yeah, nice little trip. I didn't get sunburned either, which is good.
That's good.
We've played a lot of Grounded.
We did.
I've been tempted to join, but it does have crossplay? No, but not if are you guys playing on Steam?
I'm playing on Xbox.
Game Pass.
Oh, then I
Yeah.
could be playing with you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, but it's only 4 players.
Yeah, but
so-
I mean, you guys don't all play at the same time.
sometimes. But I think if you take someone's character that
you
is
take
already
their
on the
space.
server, you're like literally taking their character.
Yeah, we all have been playing.
And to be fair,
Yeah, you could take Paul's.
I could take Paul's place.
Yeah.
Paul doesn't
Yeah.
play.
We've been playing with Thursby, Paul, Zach, and myself.
We're also like 80% of the way through
Also,
the game.
what
no,
is
we are
Thursby?
not.
Really?
No, like
80% of the story?
oh, you don't even
Oh,
know,
wow.
dude.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
I'm
Sorry, when I see something that says get the last of something, I assume that we're getting towards the end.
Yeah, we're Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and we're like getting all these chips to make the embiggening juice, but like
I mean,
beyond the pond, there is almost as much yard as there is that we have been to so far.
wait, really?
Yeah.
They've built it up that much?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's like there's a ton, and I was there last night, and it's all basically like
Is that where termites and shit are?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Is that where
but-
the sandbox is? The big huge sandbox?
No, that's on the opposite side. Yeah, we've already done the
Jesus.
sandbox.
Yeah. Well, did you go to there after?
Yeah, and it was just to get the gobs that are like the different like elements.
Oh.
That's all it was in there.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't anything in there.
Gotcha.
It was just like get the gobs that are different flavors. But okay, you're done in here.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that's all it was there. Yeah, so there's a ton more for us to do. I am the designated base builder, which I have done three times now.
2.5.
I like
All right.
building bases.
We built a little bit of that first one.
Yeah,
Let me rephrase that. Thursby and Paul built a little bit of that one. I don't do building stuff.
Yeah.
I just explore.
I
also
make
use-
nice things, and then yes, Paul did break it.
Paul did break it. It was
The
very
first
funny.
base?
The first base, yeah.
Well,
he broke the platform that all the chests were on,
Which then
and
broke
then-
all the chests.
and then they just dumped all into the ground, and yeah. So we have a pond base, and then we have kind of like a picnic table,
And you said
sandbox base.
I saw you on the Slack channel. You were talking about that you put zip lines between
Yes.
them.
Yes,
So like,
the quickest zip lines you'll ever see
that
in
one
your
was
entire
bad. That one was bad. I wish there was.
There was literally a zip line that was built that
It was
he
faster
left-
to run. It was faster to run.
Not only that, he left like a minute before me, and then I was just like, I hopped on it for like a second, and I'm like, no, this is just garbage.
Yes.
And then after 10 seconds, I had cut past him.
Yes,
and
not
after-
even 10 seconds.
And so
Not-
after about 5 seconds after that, he's like, okay, this is
No, I hit a thing and it dropped me down, and then I was like, okay. And it was a tier 3 thing, so I couldn't even cut it down. Like, yeah. But yes, that whole upper pond area has like plus like evolutions of all of the like
oh, that's cool.
previous things
Nice.
we've
That's
fought,
good.
like bigger ladybugs, bigger larvae, bigger ants, not bigger, but like tougher, like new
Look, I mean,
harder versions.
going
and all
from
that
the red to the black ants was already tough.
I suck so bad at fighting in that game.
Let's say fire ants are a thing in the game.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do they shoot fire?
No, but every single one of them is aggressive, not just the soldiers.
Ooh.
Yeah. But there's
All
a bunch of new enemies up there that I'm like, no, thank you, madam. Also, the fungus keeps spreading.
That sounds good. Yeah. Sounds right.
Yeah, so there's more and more fungus stuff.
I'd play third person.
Third person helps with the combat.
Yeah, I still am not good.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Because it's one of those like timing of like blocking and then attacking and like
and you can get
the
like perfect
patterns
blocks
of
and
things.
stuff that give
Yeah.
you benefits.
And I'm just bad at all of that.
Yeah.
If it's not a game where I can spam attack to kill things, then I do bad at it.
You get somebody else to be like the tank?
Go dagger, and then you can spam attack. That's what I've been doing.
Okay.
I actually have a mosquito needle that's like a rapier sort of thing. It also heals you slightly when you attack it, which is nice because Thursby and to an extent Jeff tend to be like the tank people. I have like a shield in case I pull aggro, just to be like, and I just hold it. I just hold the shield until they stop attacking me. I don't try and perfect any of that. And then as soon as they turn away, just fucking stab. Although I did just get a great sword that is nice.
Okay.
So it also has some blocking ability to it.
Okay.
This is good. But that's been a lot of fun so far. A lot of exploring. A lot of the cave, like we had multiple times where we would just start going somewhere, and then you just like, oh, what's this one cave or what's this one pipe that's sort of exposed, and you go in there and you start finding all this exploring shit. All of the biomes are really cool. The trash ones, like you said, the sandbox was cool. When the first time we went up to the picnic table was really nice. That one was because there's like a D&D map up there but with like 3D terrain, so it's like a dungeon you actually go through. It was actually pretty cool. And the sense of scale in that game is still always so cool.
Yeah,
because there is in the pond there's a koi fish.
Yes.
Okay. And the first time I saw it, I guess it was asleep or something, because I saw it and I was like, oh, it's just like a part of the environment. It doesn't do anything. The next time I was in there, I was doing stuff. All of a sudden, I see the koi heading towards me and attempting to eat me. It was terrifying because that thing is about 50 times as big as you are.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
If Thursby says, yeah, it fucking eats you. It got me.
Mm-hmm. Exploring underground, like I said, all the different biomes are really cool, and like you have things that you can focus on, and the mutations that got added at some point in the game, they can help you out. And as you start, like, it's one of those mutation things that as you do something enough times, it unlocks it to make you better at it, which is always cool.
The more you use daggers, the more you use swords, the more you use daggers. I can add bleed now, and my dagger already adds venom. But I can't tell if anything's bleeding or venomed.
Yep.
It's hard to tell statuses.
As much as it can be annoying at sometimes, it is always funny, like that we have friendly damage in this, friendly fire. Every so often, I remember one of the times we were fighting, I think it was a ladybug, and I shot just Thursby like 2 or 3. It was shot like 2 or 3 times in a row of just like him moving around the ladybug, and then I shoot at the moment, then he just went right in front of me and it did damage to him. Or
just keep shooting him.
The time that I threw, because when you have like the grass chunks that you can use for like building, you can set them down, or you can just fucking yeet it in front of you. And Jeff,
I believe, is
and Jeff happened to be right in front of me when I was just like, all right, fuck this thing, and I hit him and did like 90% of damage towards him.
I think you shot me in the head with an arrow, so much so that it was in my like line, like in my first person view. I was like, what's sticking out of my head? It was just this spike.
Yeah, that happens to Megan and I in Raft a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grounded's good. I think there's a lot more Grounded to do.
Good.
Yeah, there's a lot of that upper. I do have a very slow zip line that gets you directly up to the upper area now from the pond base.
Okay.
But
why don't you build it from? Well, how far away is the picnic table?
It's very far.
Okay,
very far.
All right.
Yes, the pond base is definitely, because it's just across the water.
Have you just tried? Did you try building up higher on the pond?
So the pond thing has all the ladders with the trampolines and stuff. If I tore all of that down and did spiral staircases for everything, it would be much easier to get it higher.
Gotcha.
It would be much easier to get it higher at the like oak pond base than the other base, because the spiral staircases all take like acorn tops and stuff. So I have to take all that stuff with me.
Gotcha.
And then if I don't have enough, I have to go back and get a bunch more. Yeah.
We did have one time. Okay, so have you played Grounded at all?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so you know wolf spiders, right?
Oh,
Those.
Yep.
We had one moment where our second base, our pond base, it's near the like main lab. So there's a wolf spider that just walks by.
yeah,
Well, there's
yeah.
wolf spiders underneath.
There's
tree
two underneath
there,
there, but then there's also one that just walks by every once in a while.
Kind of circles the tree, I think.
Yeah. One time we were just in our more often than not, if we're in there, he'll be like, like I hear something, but then he just sort of like comes up to the wall and then just walks away eventually. So we're just like, yeah, whatever. One time though, that happened, and then all of a sudden another spider, wolf spider, just like, I don't know how, it just physicsed itself over into our base, and then another one into our base, and then that first one into. So we had 3 wolf spiders in our base.
Yes.
Fuck.
That was terrifying.
Yeah, that is.
One was upstairs.
Yeah.
But also upstairs is like where we have our zip line, and it's just a bunch of ladders. So if he destroys one ladder, the entire system collapses. And I was like, let's all go away from where it is because we do not want. And then that was the last one that was left because they fell in the water or something like that and all died.
Yeah. It worked out well there. But
yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
And then the other one was upstairs and didn't know how to attack us, and I just kind of slashed at it at the bottom
and
for like 2 or 3
shooting it from
minutes.
the side.
Yeah, and it didn't move, and that helped kill it too.
Yeah.
So.
I've definitely like almost every wolf spider I've ever killed in that game has been because it got in a weird spot where it couldn't hit me, but I could hit it.
Yeah.
I'm just under you and stabbing you in the belly as you like turn and get angry.
Even with our level 2 and little bit of level 3 gear, we ran into a wolf spider last night, and it just was like walking by, and it was just like, one shot. Okay, great.
Yeah, they're vicious. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me tell you about that upper pond area, upper yard. That does not fuck around.
No.
700 centimeters.
Do we have any other bantery things?
I've been playing a decent amount of Marvel Snap.
I have also been playing an extreme amount of Marvel. It's mostly
I
what I
played
did.
a little bit of it, and then I stopped.
It's mostly what I did when we were playing Clank Legacy.
Yeah.
I would have probably played a lot in that situation. It's what I did
I just
for
didn't have
30 minutes
time.
during
Because
Yeah,
I was
Zach
doing
didn't have
things.
the time. I had a lot of downtime. I'm level 562 on that collection.
Oh, I'm like still in the 100s.
Oh, bummer.
How do you get enough money to upgrade enough to get
It's
that
just the dailies. You
Because
just
I'm
have
like
to-
maxed. I've done all the missions. Like I've got to do the
That's-
ones that just dropped since
Yeah.
we've been recording. But
Yeah, there's the season pass gets you a decent amount.
do you do
And-
season pass?
Yeah.
Like the pay for?
Oh yeah,
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I refuse to.
It's like
Whatever.
10
That-
bucks
that
a month or
makes
it's
something like
$10. I even give him the $15. Get the 10 free levels.
that. See,
Okay.
he's buying
pay
his-
to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely what that. You can't pay to win in this. There's no way to get more cards through money at all.
But you just paid, and yet you're higher than him, so I think that's all that means.
Yeah, that's definitely
That's
what it
the
is.
only
I
thing
mean,
that it could be.
But isn't it? Like,
Only by upgrading the cards, which need
Right.
the like boosts. But I guess if you get the
so then you
premium-
get cards
can-
that I don't have access to
No.
yet. Which
yeah,
I mean I'll eventually get them, but it's pay to
no,
win. They can try and say
so
it's not.
I'm not using anything that's like even pool wise like higher because there's tiers of pools. So where you are, you're still in pool 1. You're not playing against anyone that has cards from even pool 2. Once you get to a certain level, you get pool 2 and pool 1. And now I've just hit where I am in pool 3, 2, and 1. There's only certain cards you have access to in certain collection levels.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I've definitely, like, I just got a card that I have seen people playing against me for weeks.
It's because you are not like at
Yeah.
that top level of pool yet.
But if they paid to upgrade faster, they got access
You
to that
cannot
card
pay
sooner.
money to upgrade faster.
Only on the season pass thing, but that's only
Yeah.
upgrading for the season pass.
Yeah.
It's not.
There's credits that are in there. You can get more credits.
Because you can buy gold, right?
Yeah.
And gold can be used to get the credits that are used to upgrade cards.
And I did not pay for anything until I was in pool 2.
Yeah. But people could pay and get a little bit ahead that way.
And you don't even need those cards, though. I don't know. It depends on what card you think is bullshit, but you just need to like do the dailies. You just get the cards. Like,
all of the good cards I've gotten from like moving up the green list.
That's collection level.
Yeah.
And you can pay to move up higher, is what he's saying.
You cannot pay to move up your collection level.
You can pay you pay to get gold, which you can turn into credits, which you can use to upgrade cards, which moves you up.
But how do you get boosters?
Yes, but like right now, like, so they give you the 3, like I have not been able to buy one of the 3 upgrades because I haven't had enough credits in days.
Yeah.
So if I dropped a credit card, though, I could get gold to get credits and then get those 3 upgrades, which would move me up that track faster.
Yeah.
Like, I get what you're saying, but also it's not entirely true that
it doesn't match you against those people that have those more cards. The more cards you have matches you against people that have more cards.
Except, like I said, I've played, like,
because you're still in pool 1.
Where's the pool line? How do you even know what pool you're in? You're talking about things that I don't even know exist in this game.
Correct. I am, because I've played this game a lot. So
this game does a bad job of explaining so many things. Like
you are 1,000% correct. It does a very bad job.
I only discovered that you can send messages to the person you're playing on accident. If you tap your
don't tell anyone this. You're a nightmare person to tell anyone that you can interact with anyone in this game. But yes, there are.
I send people thumbs ups all the time when they pull off a surprising victory against me. Keeping it positive.
Yes, but there are there's pool 1, pool 2, pool 3, and you're probably just still in pool 1 and don't have all the pool 1 cards yet. But getting all the pool 1 cards is easier than getting all the pool 2, because then it starts going to every 25 levels to get a new card, and now it's random if you get a new card or not. Like what the pool level I'm at, when I'm hitting certain tiers, it's not guaranteeing cards anymore.
And all I'm saying is that you can still pay. If are you credit limited? Do you ever run out of credits?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So if you can pay to get more credits, and credits are what's holding you up from advancing.
No, the boosters are what are holding you up from advancing.
I am currently waiting on credits. I have plenty of boosters.
You are, but I've used
So you're not waiting on credits, you're waiting on boosters.
Yes, and you cannot get more boosters. There's no pay for boosters to be able to upgrade cards. You have to play
except
to
for
get
the
those.
3 cards every day or twice a day that you can do in the
with credits. Yes.
Yeah. So
that sounds like checkmate to me.
I think you're overvaluing how
I'm being pedantic. Yes. Because why wouldn't I be?
Yeah. The actual
he found one little thing. Yeah. Holding on to dear life. No. Don't deny him that, Jeff.
Yeah. All the cards are well balanced enough to where I'm still using the deck I've been using forever.
Let's team back up though, because you got to talk about how you got to play Marvel Snap while you were waiting for Zach to take turns in Clank Legacy. I'd like to talk about how I played Marvel Snap for 30 minutes while I waited for Zach to show up to a movie that he never came to.
Because I forgot. I got a message, or Jeff, it was 9:30, and Jeff was like, "Aren't you supposed to be at a movie?" And I was like, yes, I am.
How did you get Jeff's message and not the multiple messages?
We were playing Grounded. He said
we were playing Grounded at 9:30.
Because it's funny because I messaged you and Paul at the same time. Did you guys forget? And Paul was the wizard's always, and he was walking in.
Yeah, that's what that's
at that moment. It was great. I was like, that's amazing timing. And I was like, looks like Zach's gonna miss it. And he's like, oh no, Zach comes right before trailers all the time. And I was like, I don't think that's ever been true.
No, I forgot totally.
Yeah,
I saw this.
It was great.
It was good.
The menu was so good.
All right.
So yeah, so Paul and I went and watched the menu. When we bought our tickets yesterday morning, we were the only one. I don't know when you guys bought yours, if you were the only ones in the theater.
Yes.
Okay. There were other people by the time
the
showtime came around. But it was way funnier than I thought it'd be. And
it
was
that's what I've heard.
It was a great transition from just normal funny, them mocking
to black comedy funny
to very dark humor stuff where it's oh my God, I'm laughing at something that I probably shouldn't laugh at.
It's rich people. It's okay.
There's a lot of that. These are all terrible people. I don't feel bad about what happens to them. It's good. It's interesting. It's the second movie I've seen this year that has had kind of a very darker social commentary kind. I feel like I've watched 2 movies this year that have more, which is there's always been movies that make very.
I was
pointed,
getting Ready or Not esque vibes from it, from the trailers and things like that. Was that applicable at all?
Not quite.
Okay.
I would say I think the main trailer scene where like they're all standing outside and they're like you have a 45-second head start. That is very misleading as to what's happening there.
Okay.
But it's great, and Anna Taylor-Joy and the guy Nicholas, I don't remember his last name. It's a weird one.
Beast, that guy.
Yeah, Nicholas, something with an AU in it. I don't know. They are fantastic. They're both very different characters, and their interactions together are great.
Nice.
And yeah, Stanley Tucci's character is almost unrecognizable, except for the fact that it's Stanley Tucci. So it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Voldemort.
That's Ralph Fiennes. Ralph.
Is he not? Is that not
Fiennes?
Ralph Fiennes? Phineas?
He's in that. He is in that movie, but he's the
head chef.
He's the
Yeah,
head
that's
chef.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So the head chef is Voldemort.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But
There are other characters.
yeah, John
in the movie.
Leguizamo's character's great in it.
Yeah.
So many great performances across the entire movie.
Nice.
The ending is just perfect. It was one of those where I thought I saw the ending and it was like, okay, now I just got to wait for the ending to play out. And then they did that and I was like, oh, okay.
Now
I know there's an ending. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a twist.
I wouldn't say twist. It definitely does not qualify.
I
as a
thought it was
twist.
just going to end it was just going to be like
At some point.
It's
the movie's
everything
just
I
done.
thought it was
Bam.
always going to be, and then it finished.
Yep.
So, really good though. Really good. I would definitely watch it again
Cool.
in theaters.
It is $20 per max credit purchase for 500 credits, which is absurd.
500
That
credits
is
is
fucking
$20.
ridiculous.
$20.
Yeah,
it's
that's fucking
four. So if you buy the $100, the $100 8,000 gold, it is 400 gold to get 500 credits. I think I did the math wrong.
Yeah.
400, 8,000.
Also, I'm relatively certain I didn't do the math out, but I think it's more efficient to buy the 150 than the 500.
Oh, apparently you get 50 free credits every day.
Yes, you do.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
every,
have
like,
not
few
been doing
hours.
that at all.
Oh yeah,
I
twice a day. You
I
get
have
50
literally
credits.
it says 24 hours. So
Oh, I thought it was on the same 7.
well, there's 50
timer
more
that-
credits. That's a click to win right there.
Yep.
Click to win.
Anyone that is paying money to do that is a fucking
Has a problem.
Yeah, it has a problem, and
So why do you pay for it then? What's
The
the
season
what's
pass
the
thing?
benefit for that?
the season pass thing, it just gets you more boosters for the cards that are in the season pass. So it gets me more Black Panther. It gets me the variants of the Black Panther cards.
Which increases his collection level, which gets him higher.
Yes.
See, the other problem, for
of
me,
the cards that I am literally not using because Control Pool 2, that's my fucking deck. I've had a deck that I have been using since the 200s, low 200s, this entire time.
I haven't upgraded my deck in 100 levels.
Yeah.
I've added a card or two or swapped one or two out, and I made a different deck once because of this one of the specific this is the featured location
that will happen more and more often.
and I finally made a deck that addressed that location a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it worked great. But
Yeah.
I still wish I could just see my win-loss. I still really want to know what % win-loss am I? Because I was bragging to a buddy of mine how I almost never lose, and then I lost 5 in a row. I got real salty. I almost quit playing. But then I've been back on a tear. All right. Well, let's move on then and talk about some news in Kickstarter.
yeah.
Did we check other crowdfundings? Have we been good about checking
Yes.
other crowdfundings,
I had
not
looked
just
at
Kickstarter?
things, but
Okay.
these were fine. First up in news, hey, remember when Heroscape was the hottest shit and everyone was at Gen Con was like, hey, we're bringing back fucking Heroscape. Holy shit. We're going to put it on Hasbro Pulse.
Yep.
And then we only got half as many people that wanted it than we thought, which was 4,300 people. And you know what? We're just not going to do it anymore. No. Mm-mm.
They wanted 8,000 people.
Only 4,300 wanted it. We're just shutting it down. No one's
Well,
ever getting
you know what?
Heroscape again.
It's not even just that, too, is that the price was so...
$250.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're lucky they got 4,000 people.
4,300 people.
Yeah. And so that's the sort of interesting thing where they have, they didn't even show,
Still
how
got
much...
over $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just not enough.
They
Not enough.
needed over $2 million, clearly, to even want to do this at all. And it's not like, you know what, we're gonna come back. and then we're going to go back at you with like this other, and nope, we're just not going to make this anymore.
It's almost like capitalism's a mistake.
Yes, absolutely. If you were excited about Heroscape, that's it. But if you're excited about HeroQuest, they're going to just keep doing those. The things that
got enough people though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Also, I think I had seen some shitty story that was talking about how Hasbro's like stock prices and stuff have been going down. But then that article was also talking about how it's been going down because they made like a genderless transformer or something. And yeah, like the hardest of jerks. It was like, oh, I need to stop reading this article immediately.
Yeah. Another,
and I was like, oh, I didn't know there was like some
go
sort.
woke,
Yeah,
go broke.
Yeah,
fucking stupid shit.
Hasbro was going woke in Transformers,
Yeah.
and that's why their stock price is
Yep.
down. No, it's because they didn't make
exactly.
Heroscape.
Yeah.
Which they're not. But
Yeah.
it's weird that this thing that they were pushing pretty fucking hard
I mean,
and still did over $1 million was
I'm
still
sure-
not enough.
I'm sure if it would have been like 150 or something like that, even people would have been like, oh, that's expensive, but I'll do it. But 250 is
rough.
for a game that I want to say, obviously it was what 10 plus years ago when it was first there, it was like $60, $70, maybe $100, if that.
Yeah.
And so going up to 250 is just like
it's
also I understand like they didn't do a full color like the old ones were. They had colored based off of the types that they were in, but it's still I wasn't a big fan of it.
Yeah. Well, and then I feel like it's the kind
You
of game
half-ass
like
it and you charge $250.
yeah, and it's not the kind of game where you're going to get broad appeal. Like Heroscape is old enough, and like the type of game it is, it falls into that like hardcore nerd shit. Like you're not going to catch mass appeal right out the gate. Like, and so if that's what you're counting on, then you need to have a price point that can bring in mass appeal. Like there's not enough hardcore gamers who have that kind of money to throw down. If you're wanting 2 million, 2 million, roughly 250 to 300. I don't know what their final numbers were looking like. Whatever 250 times 8,000 maybe. I don't know. It's crazy.
And he did 8,000 backers at $250 a pop.
Yeah.
Minimum.
No, that's 2 million right there. So,
Yeah. Shelved.
More HeroQuest, more D&D board games will be coming instead.
Which is, fine. They'll wait long enough until they are in danger of losing the copyright, and then they'll do something with it again briefly.
yeah.
Because again, capitalism's broken. Moving on.
Last up in news, we have some more details about the cooperative Carcassonne, or as I like to call it, Coopacatazone.
Please don't call it that.
Please don't call it that.
Mists over Carcassonne, which apparently can merge with the base game to make like more, which is neat.
Maybe. So really, it seems like this is vaguely My Little Carcassonne. So it's like, if you already know how to play Carcassonne, these new rules will be even simpler for you. 6 levels. They guide you step by step through the like individual elements and rules. So kind of like talking about earlier, Harry Potter Deckbuilder, like where it really brings you into like, this is how you play a deck builder. Very simple steps.
This is how you play tile
laying.
So it looks like Carcassonne, but it also has like haunted ghost zones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spooky.
But it is also cooperative.
Yeah, so there's a predetermined number of points for each of those like 6 scenarios that you're trying to reach. If there are too many ghosts, then you stop drawing tiles and you have lost. It looks like the way they're showing it here, I can't tell if they're letting you put some face down, like if that helps you avoid placing ghosts, but like takes up a spot. I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't explain the whole face down thing.
I can't tell in this image if like
unless it's
that's just showing you where you can play a certain tile,
or people are playing their tiles face down there,
and then everybody reveals
at the same time.
That could be.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But apparently you can play the 2021 edition and combine it to enhance the game. They say.
Sure.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be out in January.
So I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about it then.
Yes. I assume it's also going to be like $40.
Yeah.
Correct. It is $40.
I was gonna say, it says you can pre-order it. How much can you pre-order it for?
You can
$39.99.
Fucking money. That's it for news.
$39.99 plus tax, which then reminds me, and shipping. It was almost every time I leave the U.S., I'm always reminded that almost every other country on the planet includes tax in the posted prices. So if you see something as $39.99, it's just $39.99.
You know what else does?
Who?
Waffle House.
I did not know
Yep,
that.
sale tax is included on
I
those.
have not been to a Waffle House.
Ever?
I don't think so.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't know if they were around the Chicago area. But
Like, on the one hand, it's like a very like real part of my like growth as a person.
Mhm.
But like by the time I moved to North Carolina, I knew not to go to Waffle House.
Right.
So.
Like it's not one of those where I'm like, oh, I can't believe you've never been. You have to go. It's like on the one hand, I'm jealous of you for never having gone to Waffle House. On the other hand, like, did you even have like a 20s if you didn't drunkenly go to Waffle House at 4 a.m.?
They do
No.
a specific thing very well, which is be fucking diner. Like, and sometimes that's what you want, and they still have my favorite eggs. So
Really?
Yeah.
Man. Anyway, we'll dissect that maybe some other time.
That's fine.
Probably not on air.
usually it's because a lot of other places when you're like scrambled eggs with cheese, it's always just like American's the best cheese for that. And the other places don't use that. They use the actual, like, more official
Good
cheese. Yeah,
More official
but
cheeses.
it doesn't make that, which is I want that.
American cheese plays a role in the movie The Menu.
Good to know.
Now we know.
You'll never see it coming.
No. Now I will, because you told me. Thanks a lot.
No, you'll still be like, wait, that's what it mattered?
Every single moment I'll be like, is it now? Is it now?
Anyway, moving on to crowdfunding, which
And
is this
our
time only Kickstarter.
And it's only
Just
one.
one?
It's just the one.
Just the one.
Now
First
we can't
and last.
There you go.
The first Kickstarter and The Last of Us, Escape the Dark. Very well funded, just about $700,000 of its $142,000 goal, which is very high, I think, for your general Kickstarter goal. Higher than average. Over 6,500 backers and about less than a week left to go for this one, which you can pledge its most popular pledge of
Collector's edition by
$116. Pricey game, this guy. It's 1 to 5 players, about an hour. If you are familiar with the Escape the Dark sector, Escape the Dark castle, Escape the Dark system, this is Escape the Dark Last of Us.
That's The Last of Us Escape the Dark.
Yeah. You are going to be playing as 6 various characters from the game. It's going to be Ellie, Tess, Bill, Joel, Tommy, and Marlene. The base game has like cards and tokens and stuff, and then the collector's edition will be adding dual layer player boards and like a dual layer turn tracker and miniatures for all of the enemies and everything else. Of course, this game, as in the realm of Escape the Dark, is entirely black and white. So all the components, all the game, black and white for this thing. You're going to be traveling from point A to point B. You're trying to get to Jackson. That's your kind of like end up goal. You're going to be traveling aboard between different locations. All of those are random. There's going to be threat between each location. Depending on how much threat is in each location, will block off certain routes for you to be able to go through. As in The Last of Us, you will be taking various resources to craft items. So that'll be things like bottles and rags and alcohol and whatever, and merging those into other things. And via the Escape the Dark, it's all like a dice-based system. There's 3 symbols on every die. That is your like agility, and it's somewhere in here, but it's like your agility stat, and you need basically eyeball like a little asterisk thingy, and then the fist for fighty. Basically, you're going to be going through a bunch of encounters, rolling dice. Each character has their own stat lines. Joel has like 5 strength, 1 agility, and 2 focus, where Ellie has 1 strength, 5 agility, and 2 focus. You have a bunch of health. Looks like everyone has about 12 health. And then you have a bunch of equipment slots, and you're going from one end of the board to the other and trying to make your best way through. But everyone also has something interesting, which is a hang-up. So something like Joel has, which is very thematic, is grief-stricken.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say a more callous way of saying that.
Yeah. So his hang up, and you have to do this thing for a certain amount of rounds. So his is fight alone in 4 rounds of melee. If you complete that, you flip that over, you get over your hang up, and now you're relentless. Whenever you roll a double in melee, roll again and apply both results. So you become even stronger with
exploding dice.
Yes. When you're fighting and stuff, you can fight things. These threat tokens are basically representing the various infected. Your infected is as strong as like a clicker. It's 3 times player count. So if you're at max player count, they're quite strong, and you would not want to fight those solo.
Unless you're Joel and you're grief-stricken. You're like, fucking bring it on.
Yeah. So your goal of combat is to remove all the threat dice by making attacks. The symbols shown on the dice represent which attributes you will need in order to remove them. So in this example, it has like 3 shields that make it even tougher, but then it has 1 strength. It has 1 of each other symbol in there, and you can use your various items to try or you can use your various stats to try and do like sneak attacks, like in the game, where you can be very stealthy until shit breaks loose and then you have to go loud. But you can do things like shivs that give you like a clicker at 2 games has like 6 black die, but you can use a shiv if you have a sneak attack and remove 3 of them immediately. Or you can use a bottle to, if you roll the right die, be able to distract and make a sneak attack. But if you roll a blank, you have to begin combat. So I think and there's firearms, but you have to roll certain things and you have to have ammo for it, and ammo is scarce. There's melee. It seems like it's better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I was expecting The Last of Us Kickstarter to be mini nightmare of you want all of these things that look like the thing from the game you like and not have any sort of thematic anything in there that feels like the game.
Mm-hmm.
But like this feels more of the desperate slog across the country than I was expecting.
Yeah.
But you could also pay $116 to get minis for everything. So
there's always that. It's like it's
still $77 for the base game.
Okay.
But it does come with a whole heck of a lot of miniatures for $118. But pretty much everything is all just 3D models. But the collector's edition does get you dual layer player boards, but it doesn't seem like those dual layer player boards do anything except hold your health cube. There is also dual layer.
The card spot looks like it may be dual layer too.
Maybe, but you know what? There's literally nothing printed, so there's no way to know. The turn tracker, the calendar board is dual layered. You have like 12 turns to get to the end. The playmat looks neat. The playmat seems like it would be extremely beneficial to have to play this game. Yeah, it seems pretty okay, but the price is pretty high.
Yeah,
not talking about the like minimum $20 shipping on top of this for inevitably for the standard edition. It's 17 euros all the way up to 30 to 50 for the rest of the world. You're looking at $20 to $60 shipping for the collector's edition. 23.
What is the all-in pledge? Does that just include the mat?
Playmat, large sleeve, 1 pack of large sleeves and 3 packs of small sleeves.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and then you're looking at like $23 to $70 shipping for.
Yeah. Well, shipping still sucks. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things like some aspects of it are getting better, but costs aren't really going down.
Yeah.
Like you said, capitalism.
Capitalism's broken.
And then at the very end of the game, when you get to the end point, there will be a secret challenge. You've been followed. Flip over this card, so you don't know what the end will be.
Gotcha.
Wait, where did you say you've been followed?
That's at the very end.
Yeah, it didn't say that. Oh, you've been followed.
Yeah, so the end of the game is always kind of like a secret. You don't know what the actual end will be.
Gotcha.
Turn over for now.
Yes.
Or turn over.
Which
now.
they do not reveal, which I enjoyed. Them not
Yeah,
revealing
yeah.
what the end challenges could be.
Although they could have just left that off. Just a surprise.
Well, I think they need to explain what the actual mechanics of the game are.
I don't know if
No,
that part,
trust me, you don't need to do that for a Kickstarter game, Jeff.
No, that's true. That's true.
Leaving this one last card off, like the goal is to reach Jackson. And then like you are playing the game thinking you just need to reach Jackson, then you get there and you're like, oh shit, there's like one more.
I mean, it's on the board.
It's literally on the play mat. So
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
it's a space.
Where do you see that?
It's on the play mat.
It's that blank space. But there's another one that shows like
the exit zone at the top.
at
Center.
the top. There you go.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But then higher up it shows that card on there. So
Yeah. Because there will always be a card there, and it's
Yeah.
random what it is.
But it's a Jackson card.
Yes.
Right. So they could have just shown a Jackson card.
I mean, they do.
they
but
do.
There's a final challenge that it's alluding to. Yeah. I don't know. It's only like, it's a game with only like 5 locations, but each location can have various events that you interact with, and you can sneak past guards or attack the guards or whatever. It seems neat. I don't know if it's $77 neat plus shipping. So.
Almost certainly not.
Yeah, like they did put an estimate in the retail shipping pledge, which was like, you pledge $248, your estimated US shipping is going to be $35. So well over $100 for this game,
There you go.
which looks okay. It looks all right, but I don't want to spend that kind of money on it.
You're right.
Better than most Kickstarters I've looked at recently.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Huh?
There was no emails.
Okay. It's like there's a lot. I haven't looked at the email in a while. All right. Well, that wraps up the episode.
Yep.
No listener feedback. Not even a YouTube comment from Paulo's Corner. Although not surprising, considering we
It's
have
been
not
a month
recorded
since there's
in
been an episode.
forever.
No, we have recorded. It's just they're not out.
or we have not released an episode.
Yeah.
Well, and I have not recorded in a month.
Something like that. I think there was an
whoops.
episode that you were on that did not get released.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the 180
That'll be 80, yes.
because there was a two-person one that you guys did that was supposed to be 180.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The last one we recorded in studio on my folder was labeled 181.
Correct.
Yes.
And then that's now going to be 180. And
Correct.
then
280.
280. And then this is now 281B, but it's going to be 281 in the end.
Yes.
So yeah. So that's what's going on, listeners.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you'd like to email us.
Indeed. For the time being, until it implodes into a...
Until you get us completely banned from Twitter.
Until I either get us completely banned or until Twitter shuts down into a black hole of narcissistic billionaire
I
circle
hope so.
jerking.
I
I know.
hope so.
Please. Until then, I occasionally tweet under at MHGameGuys.
Zach_MHGG.
Jeff_MHGG.
We are on Facebook at MHGameGuys, Instagram at MHGameGuys. Jeff is making us a bunch of other MHGameGuys
Whatever
related things at
Whatever the swarm is
Mastodons
going
and-
to on this various day.
I've been holding off until I felt like I had a good read on where.
I'm just making them to get the name.
Sure. I mean, it's not like it's a...
It's such a hot commodity.
I noticed on Google Maps in the apartment complex across the street from my house here, there's a Mile High balloon guy. So he might be locking down all the MHBG things.
Well, he needs to be MHBB for MH
Balloon Boy.
Mile High Balloon Boy.
Yeah.
But he's Mile High balloon guy.
No. Could have gone with boy.
He should have.
Yeah.
Balloon Garçon.
Yeah. So Zach, I how much time do you think you need before this episode goes? Like, if I right now try to really plug to our listeners that they have 1 week left to get onto Slack, find the Mile High Cabin Con channel, and confirm their attendance at Mile High Cabin Con, will this be out by that deadline?
I don't want to spend $50, so it's going to be out before Friday.
So this episode will be out before Friday.
Yes,
Mile High Cabin Con locks down.
It will be out at the latest Friday morning.
Friday morning,
as in before I go to it will be released when you wake up, when we would wake up on Friday,
when normal people,
not
up.
you,
on your commute after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
you're ready to listen.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly what date Paul is locking down the.
It's next. It's on the thing.
Yeah, I just don't have anything to look that up really quickly. But basically, if you're interested in coming to Mile High Cabin Con, you have like
November 27th.
So you have
Sunday
until Sunday. So this is coming out on Friday. You have until Sunday at the latest.
I'm glad
you
we
have
put this
until
all
Sunday.
in after
right
our contact. Yeah, you got to listen all the way to the end for all the juicy stuff.
I forgot all about it.
You know what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, instead of cutting out that Marvel, I'm just going to copy it 3 times. It's just going to extend it 3 extra times of 30 more extra minutes of talking.
I thought you were going to say you're going to replace it with us talking about like you have 3 days to confirm to come to Cabin Con.
No, I'm not going to. No,
because I desperately want 3 houses, but that means we need like 8 more people.
We need like 10 more people. We had 30 with 3 houses last time.
Yeah, but Paul said like
24 is the borderline.
Yeah. And we're at like 20.
We're at 20.
So we need like 6 more to get over the borderline. Ideally, I'd love to have it grow each year. So I'd like it to be 30 or more. I don't know who's missing all this year. Seems like Allison, Clue, and Leander are not going to be attending, unfortunately.
And a lot of people that just can't do that time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few others. But if you can come in May to Colorado, you should. And come hang out in one of 3 beautiful houses in Winter Park, Colorado. Hopefully it'll snow again. We're going earlier this year, so the chances of snow is even higher. Play board games, hang out in hot tubs, drink a lot of booze.
Cut open your leg or your foot. You know how you
only I do that. There's no expectation for that to happen to anyone but me. However, it is expected that it will happen to at least one person because Megan has almost every year for the last 4 years fixed someone's foot in a hot tub incident.
No.
So
now we know.
Now we know.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's other ways to find us, but they're obscure. Look in the show notes of your favorite podcast app for the Slack link.
Which is the most important. Sign up for Mile High Cabin
Join
Con.
the Slack. Find the MHCC channel, which is Mile High Cabin Con. Join the MHCC channel. Pinned to that channel is the spreadsheet where you can add your name, confirm that you're going, and then be ready to spend, I don't know, $300-ish dollars.
Well, but no, it's like 180 to 270.
Yeah, that's right. Megan and I are always splurge for the big fancy room because we big and fancy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to be it. Thanks, everybody, for putting up with the incredibly long wait between episodes. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this show. Thank you for continuing to support us over on Patreon, patreon.com/milehighgameguys. And have a great, hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be the day after Thanksgiving.
And we will be back next week. Like, we'll be recording a week from today. This is mostly for the people actually watching live on Twitch, where we stream.
It's no one.
They did all leave. No, we 2 viewers. One of them probably me.
Yeah.
And the other 2, Bob and Mike Jones, who just get notifications.
Mike Jones is long gone. Yeah. He left work an hour and a half ago.
Fair enough. That's going to be it. As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I'm still Zach.
And I'm Basement Jeff.
Boy.
Bye.
Bye.